Bam. I greet you in the words of Assalamu alaikum, and I mention both Jesus and Muhammad's names. They were both messengers of truth and reality. You're looking at the Underground Railroad. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30 Central Time. Okay, I better say Central.
Yes, sir.
PM. And you know what? I have great guests that have their own platforms. And you know what? I have had the pleasure to be on their platforms. And since I believe in reciprocation and having symbiotic relationships and not parasital relationships, that is why they're on the show. You know what? Because they share their medium with me. And I appreciate that. But a person can say anything with their mouth, but actions be louder than words. And I got Dr. Lee Warren and Red Ross, okay, and David Koss from out of California, coming by satellite. Okay. So you know what? I'm gonna ask them. You know what? This is a third show to make a introduction to themselves. I'm gonna say be brief, but they might not listen. But it's okay to make an introduction to themselves and tell how they can get to their great and magnificent platforms that they have. Go ahead, Dr. Lee.
Well, I'm Dr. Warren, and me and my wife Penny Warren produces the Plim television show. That's a powered, laden man. It comes on every Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:30 on Channel 36, and reshown on Channel 36 from 10:30 to 11:30. To contact us with tons of information, geopolitical information, health information, spiritual information, you can contact us at 773-509-8124. Again, that's 773-509-8124.
And Brother Red Ross, this is my brother. We worship together. And
yes,
let me give him a assalamu alaikum and hi to the brothers at Masjid El Fatih and Masjid El Farouk and Manyun and the Baha Center. And I forgot the one on 37th. What's the 37th?
You got me.
37th.
Yes, sir.
Manyun.
Yes,
so,
sir.
assalamu alaikum, and please tell us, brother, your platform. Who are you?
Truth Radio HD. It's in the memory of Brother Harold Davis, but it's high definition. And what we do the communication and broadcasting from to reach the youth and the elderly and the in-between, to bridge a gap that really shouldn't even be there. The richness of the shows and the communications that we do with Mr. Bradley on the Underground Railroad, and he has an open invitation to come to our show anytime, run it, host it, guest it, or whatever. And in the process of me working with my daughter and Prince Amiel, things just go on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays from 4 to 5. Tuesdays from 4 to 5. From 3 to 5. And on Sundays we have the Pleasant Encounters and 102.3. And the TV shows just come and go with Mickey's World, and the Underground Railroad.
I want to tell somebody, Red Ross always invite me on, but see, I know you don't wear your welcome out. You got to pick the spots. Some people say, you can come on my show, damn, they be at your door every week.
Yeah.
That's somebody without common sense.
Yes, sir.
And exploiting.
Yes,
but
sir.
I come on the show every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because you don't wear out your welcome.
You never have.
You never said in general.
My parents taught me that.
Okay. And you know what? I got my brother in crime. For the government, we don't commit crimes. I'm just saying something. I'm trying to rhyme, but I guess I'm not. And this brother David Koss coming from satellite from out of California. Go ahead, brother. Introduce yourself. Tell us where your YouTube page, all that, okay?
Thank you, Clifton. I am from the cornfields of Iowa, but living in Venice, California for the moment. And I am running on the open ticket provided by nationofchange.org for president. And I'd like to invite all listeners to join God's Party. That's God's Party this 2022. And we plan to either take this election or give it up. One of the two. Thank you, Clifton.
Thank you. And let me want everybody to know I have different people come on with different opinions, different perspectives, because you know what? Everybody has something to say, even the person sitting in the back of the room. I know. I used to be that person. Okay. But I would like to ask you, Dr. Lee Warren, really I'm opposed to still, Dr. Lee Warren, what is going on with China? What is going on with Russia? That they are opposing the United States to do their will. Are they saying, you know what, are they saying that's enough for the New World Order? What is New World Order? Because are they saying things are just not going to be like they used to be, China and Russia?
Well, you have to understand the structure of what is taking place, and where the Western society, that's the Caucasians, the Western world, that's the Europe, United States, Australia, and Israel, but that's basically it. They have been the power players for the last, like I said, 70 years, especially in the United States. Now, the problem is what has changed now is that, if I had said once before, is that you had new powers that have come up. Russia and China have raised up and rival the United States in terms of nuclear power, industrial, and et cetera in China. Well, the problem is that the United States and Europe are unwilling to give up power. In other words, listen, you come in and we're co-equals. In other words, now I'm not going to set the agenda no more. Asia, you have your agenda. Russia, you have your agenda. Maybe India, the 5 or 6 or 7 largest economies in the world say, listen, now we all have to come together spiritually, if they can do as far as Yahweh is concerned or the Spirit is concerned. That would be the only way to reconcile this thing on a spiritual nature. But if you have one person or one nation that's unwilling to give up any power, the situation can never be reconciled. It can be never reconciled. Because whatever view we have, I'm coming from a viewpoint of I ruled the world for the last 70 years. Now you, Johnny, new, come on the block. Now what can you tell me? And that's the problem that you have economically, socially, and all the problems they have. They can't agree because we're dealing with a massive power structure, like you said. And see, the New World Order wants to have one world government that the U.S. and Europe would control. And Russia and China say, I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon? This is not 1880 anymore. See, this is not, the coolies, and we ain't going back there. So we're co-equal now.
Okay, and I'd like to ask you the same question, Brother Red Ross. China and Russia, there's a conflict. Is China and Russia, they appear to be saying that we're not going to be dictated to and overwhelmed. What is going on if they're developing this type of strategy of unifying together? What is happening, man?
It's a changing of the guard.
That's right.
Yeah, you pointed Dr. Warren and David. I didn't know David was on the presidency trail. I'm with him just because of his intellect.
Yes.
But just at the same time, we looking at something where we're not really paying attention to. You got basketball, where they talking about the Euro step. They trying to get their little increments in any way they can. But you got China that's buying the PGA.
What is PGA?
Golf. You're playing professional golf. Okay. They giving guys golf money. That's golf money.
Yeah.
You talking about stepping on toes, and you talking about what Dr. Warren was telling you about all of the letters they hit. See, I'm a sports person also. That's how come I can say things like I'm saying, go along with what Dr. Warren is saying, because they not only buying the golfers, the NBA and baseball is next. You're not just going to have major plays here. It's going to major step over there.
Right.
They want the same entertainment, and they can afford it. Now what are you going to do, buddy? You going to eat popcorn and peanuts, or you going back to the cotton candy.
You said this, y'all both said it's a shift of the power. They ain't gonna take it. They say,
Man,
take this job and shove it. I ain't gonna take it no more. But
what the really word is, enough is enough.
Enough. That's it.
I got you. I like to ask you the same question, David. What is going on with Russia? What's going on with the United States? Is there a shift in power? Are they saying, we ain't taking this no more? Is a new world order system being set up?
Well, part of the problem is in our country here, we have a free society that believes in doing whatever you want, whoever you are, and it doesn't really matter. Over in Russia and China, it's a different set of rules, and people abide, they're raised by it, and they're not nearly as wasteful, and they're not nearly as into sports and all the extra things that we think life is all about over here.
Right.
So there's two different opposing countries, and they have two different views on existence. And so just to ask a question like, who's the best or who's the biggest or who's going to win, I don't think we're going to win. We're going to all be drugged out. We're not looking good here.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Ward, was when we look at China in Taiwan and Pelosi going to Taiwan, was that like I dare you to cross this line with China in the United States? Like you used to draw a line in the ground when we were small and say, I dare you.
I double dare.
I double dare.
I think the powers that be that run this country realize that we are in deep doo-doo economically.
Yes, sir.
That we in deep doo-doo. I mean, and it's going to get worse. And they know there's going to be a lot of social problems and social chaos. And they need something to focus the people's attention away from that. Now, one of the ways that you can do to get a nation that's in chaos economically to focus away is start a big war. See, then they drop what we're talking about over here. Look over here, like the guy said, the magic show.
That's right.
That's the magic show.
Right.
They're magicians.
That's right.
And that's what they're doing. What can you say?
Oh, Red, I like to ask you the same thing.
Hey, man. War brings money.
That's it.
Look, you tear my country up, I send my people over there to fix it up. Okay. Okay. I just went to the nutcase to serve him then. But, think about Bob Marley. He said, what's the lady name you said he sent over to Taiwan?
Nancy Pelosi.
Her purpose was to steer it up.
That was our ulterior motive.
I'm done dog talking.
That's it.
Now let me ask you. I'm gonna ask you the same question there, but I like her question. It was to stir it up, but Joe Biden told her not to go. You said that's a game. Is that what you said? That was a game. He just said that. Are you saying he just said that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is not the Wizard of Oz, but it's Jeopardy.
Right.
And David, what is your assessment, brother?
I don't like to sound negative about things, and I don't like to give a bad opinion on things.
Go ahead, brother.
But if you want my opinion, I think that the Creator above is taking all these things away from us in this country just to make us wake up and see what's really going on.
That too.
And to come together as a nation under His 7 Mosaic feast days. And if we can, it'd be great for us all in the world. But if we can't, oh well, that's what happens. We have a choice either way.
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And you know what? The Ukraine is this what the United States? Russia essentially said with the Ukraine, we're going to cross your line. We're going to double dare you. We're going to I dare you let them into NATO. And you signed the agreement saying no other nation could come into NATO after they annexed from the United States of America. I mean, after they annexed from Russia.
Well, see, the whole problem occurs is the same thing we had here in America during the Kennedy administration with Cuba and Russia when they put the missiles over here. We didn't want missiles here off our shore. Likewise, Russia told the United States, don't put them, don't give Ukraine the missiles. We don't want them part of the UN, we want to be neutral. So we don't want that to take place. So the problem is, does Russia have power, or should they have power, or the question, their borders should be secure, and they figure that the situation with Ukraine is very unstable. They don't want them there with missiles from the West, like we didn't want missiles there. So we have the same situation. Now it's in Russia's hand. Now it's being replayed in Russia. So the question is, under divine wisdom, the situation could work out, but because of agitation, it can't be worked out, because there are people that have decided, whether we believe it or not, in this country, you can see them constantly stirring up for everything that takes place in Russia. Russia's our enemy. Russia did this. Russia doing our election. You got to have an enemy always for the people to focus rather than deal with their internal problems. This is all psychology. See,
it's called an scapegoat.
Right, a scapegoat.
But I want to, before I stir it up, I want you to understand the only thing that Dr. Warren left out that was the same trademark was Fidel Castro.
Right.
I'm going to cut mine short because I want you to get the part you keep missing out the show before they hold the three fingers up. So tell us about...
I'm listening.
Yeah, but that's enough to cover everything that Dr. Warren said. Yeah. But I want you to get your part in about the show and how you invite us and how we're here.
Okay, I got to pose that. There I go again. I got to pose that to David.
Yes, sir.
I go again. Damn.
It's okay.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, David.
What's the question?
I was saying, did Russia dare the United States to get involved? Was it wrong for NATO to put the Ukraine in NATO when they signed the agreement? During Reagan and Gorbachev saying that no nations that annexed or separated from the Soviet Union could join NATO.
That's right. That's what he said.
That's right.
That's the way it's always been.
Yes, sir.
You know, and this NATO coming in there and the United States sending weapons to the Ukraine is just the most craziest thing I've ever seen. It really is.
Yes.
That's just a little country, and Russia used them to block out everybody else. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense, and there's no rhyme or reason for what's going on over there. Like I said, until you start talking to the Ukrainians and find out exactly what the problems really are.
Like a World War III. Can I ask you something? I got to ask how many more minutes we got, Elma?
10.
We got 10 more minutes? Oh, okay. And I got to ask you something, all of y'all. Is there a possibility, because of what has transpired in the Ukraine, okay, in Russia, and NATO, and China, and Taiwan, is there a possibility of a third world war?
Listen, knowing the history, see, most people do not know the history of America.
10 minutes, okay.
Real quick, if you go back and understand, well, what happened to World War II? How was we able to get in World War II? We put sanctions on Japan. And we know that when we put sanctions on Japan, because Japan was just like Europe, they didn't have any natural oil. And Japan told them, listen, we give you 30 days to get the stuff straight. Else we're going to come for your behind. And then they did, came for Pearl Harbor. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt, all of them, they knew that they were going to come and bomb Pearl Harbor. They let it take place for the fact that they used that to jump into World War II on the side of England and that. So then there's always been skunkduggery. Same thing about the Tonkin resolution for Vietnam. I mean, all these wars was set up, and as was pointed out here, he stated, Red?
Yes, sir.
He stated that war, what did Eisenhower said, beware of the industrial what?
Oh, we got 5 minutes left.
Industrial world complex.
Okay, and you know what, Red? I'd like to ask you this: is it a we got 5 minutes left. Is it a possibility that it'd be the World War III?
It's all a shell game. You keep going back to the cup. Let's stop playing with the P. It's not there.
Okay.
They know what they're doing.
That's right.
I don't want to waste the show on reiterating what Dr. Warren is saying and going between David, because it's no clash here. We're not the Titans. We're talking about the Titans.
Mm-hmm. And David, is it a possibility, because of what's going on in Russia, what's going on in China, that it could be a World War III? We're running low on time now. Oh.
World War III could happen, but it'll happen right here in this country. And there won't be any nuclear weapons fired. All the nuclear weapons all around the world have been shut down in all nations, Russia, China, the United States. Nobody can fire a nuclear missile. So, any that have been fired have been taken out in the sky. So that's what's going on nuclear-wise. But the only war we're going to see, if we see one, will be right here in this country, and that'll be with China.
Okay, now I got to tell y'all something. We got 2 minutes. I got to get my plug.
Yes, sir. That's what
Go ahead.
Okay. You know what? Y'all been watching the Underground Railroad television show. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30 p.m., but we come on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And all of these gentlemen that you saw, these intelligent people, you can see them on my YouTube page. So I'm going to say assalamu alaikum, and to the Martians out there. I want to tell somebody, Chicago is sanctuary city. And Muslims that want to come in, come on. Assalamu alaikum.